Let me see if I got this thing ready. I think I hacked Donuts YouTube. We're live. Florida's homuncologist coming to you with an urgent message. The aliens are here, and I've hacked Donuts YouTube. So make sure to check me out, tjojp.com. And we're gonna be talking about some stuff today. So welcome everyone. Welcome. And yeah, so I was able to get into Donuts YouTube channel. This is really awesome. What's up, everybody? Uh-oh. Got the Illuminati lizards with us. Hopefully Donut doesn't jump in.
Yo!
Yeah, at me. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry, bro.
No, it's all good.
Sorry. It's the homuncologist bringing you all your Illuminati news. Is that how you say it, bro? How do you do it?
Yo, what up? It's Donut, and you tuning in to all your Illuminati news. And we are here with the homuncologist himself, the one-on-one podcast.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now there's a crazy story in the news right now about aliens in Las Vegas.
Yeah, when you told me, I didn't know what you were talking about, dude.
Dun, dun, dun. So in the beginning of, I guess towards the end of last year, I said the year of the rabbit will be the year of the alien PSYOPs because of the connection of the rabbit in Hollywood films connected to the aliens. As the first abductee was Bugs Bunny.
By the way, Donut, happy 6/9, bro. It is 6/9 today. I know you were talking about the arch of was it Archway Freemasonry, was it, with the 6/9 at the top of it?
Right. Today is 6/9, and this has a huge significance to and that's from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that the 6/9 is important to the royal arch. At the top there's the 6/9. Elon Musk always tweeting about 6/9. Bitcoin hit 6/9 and then crashed. It's the arch, and today is 6/9 as well, June 9th. But check this out. If you look at the date this UFO footage was released, it was the Illuminati Day, 5/1. What a perfect day to release the distress call of this alien PSYOP on 5. So this just released now, but it was recorded on Area 51 Day, 5/1, the day the Illuminati was founded. So right there is a red flag that this is a huge PSYOP.
Also, look what I pulled up, bro. It's Johnny Depp's birthday today. Somebody in the chat said it was his birthday today. Talk about a homunculus, right? Johnny Depp. So
yeah, a pirate of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and they had the Cthulhu in that movie too, right? In one of the movies they had the Cthulhu. So you have the cosmicism space connection there. Somebody in the chat also said that aliens do butt stuff, which is very true, right? I mean, we've always been brought up with that idea of like, hey, you know, aliens do this type of stuff, and it's funny. They make a joke of it. It's on South Park. But what if it has something like, what if there's a deeper connection to like the occult, which is what I want to talk about today with aliens, the occult, demonology. Because the more I look into aliens, bro, the more I think it's some sort of demonic entity. You know what I mean? Like bringing it in. And if you look at the arch, right, the archway, you could also talk about it being a portal. They call it a portal. So, and I like to call AI the archway of initiation. Shout out to Slick Dissident for that one. AI, archway of initiation. Right? Everybody's being initiated. Slick. Yeah, shout out to Slick.
He's going to be famous one day.
Yeah, he is, bro. He's awesome.
You want to hear my Slick Dissident impression?
God.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
I love podcasting with Slick, bro, because he really puts like a gauge on the information that you just put out there. So if you blow his mind, you know you're like on the right track, right? So he'll be like, "Oh, it's crazy," right? And that's what I love about him. But yeah, shout out to Slick.
Yeah, he is what a fabulous researcher. Now here is that royal arch that we're talking about, the 6-9, and it is very important this year in the rituals as Miley Cyrus was performing underneath the royal arch. So here's the royal arch. It's for the summer solstice, which is coming up June 21st, just a few days before National UFO Day and the Knights Templar John the Baptist Day as well. So there's this important connection to these secret societies. So here's Miley Cyrus performing underneath this royal arch looking like figure. And while she was performing for New Year's, Gangsta Boo with her album 69 died. And they're both from the 36 parallel. So there's this connection that I've been looking into. But today is 6-9, Johnny Depp's birthday.
This thing happened in Las Vegas, right? The
Yes.
alien thing, because I had seen it on social media, right? Because of course everything spreads like wildfire on there. But one of the things that I found interesting is, right, we're talking about archways of initiation, portals. I went to Gatlinburg not too long ago, and they were talking about how Gatlinburg is the gateway to the Smokies, almost like a sort of portal. Because when you're out in the mountains, when you're out in these open areas, we know that they talk about the Jinn living in the deserts and all these open areas like the swamps of Florida and all these different places that are open were of high strangeness, high, weird phenomenon. We have Skinwalker Ranch, kind of sort of near Las Vegas, but real quick, Donna, if you could share my screen, there's this right before you get to to Las Vegas. You have this here where they call it quite literally, right? Las Vegas Boulevard Gateway Arches and Showgirls. So there's this, right? The symbolism. And then you have this, which is similar to what you just pulled up on
Mm.
Taylor Swift's her stage, which the world is a stage. So I mean that's also a saying, William Shakespeare. But yeah, I just found it weird. Right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Almost like if you're in some sort of parallel dimension or something. That's a weird thing to say.
Right. Now, I grew up in Las Vegas, so I didn't stay there. But that's the 36th parallel, right where that pyramid is, in the tragic event at Mandalay Bay that took place right in front of the Luxor Pyramid. Tupac, he was assassinated, supposedly. I believe he was uh, right there. But in front of the Mandalay Bay, there's two pillars there as well, which I think is interesting. The story is they were constructing something and they just never finished it. But just the symbolism of it is sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalay Bay also took place on the 32nd floor. So 32 goes into mysticism. Aleister Crowley's Liber book. It goes into the 32 pathways. That's what it's all about. And that Lil B, the bass god, cooking soup, he even got a song called 32 something, which I find interesting as well. I'm gonna try to pull that up though. This connection to Vegas is important because Area 51 is in Nevada. And before the entire world was locked down, you had Fox, CNN, CNBC all promoting the Facebook event Storm Area 51 just a month or two before the world changed drastically forever from an alien sickness. So, a lot of connections to UFO stuff like Trump's national emergency on March 13th was the exact same day the Phoenix Lights happened. And this time frame of the early 90s, 93 to be
Pro.
concise, is when X-Files came out, but also the Rockefeller Initiative with Lawrence Rockefeller and the Clintons to unite all these UFO CIA people together under one umbrella and release documents of aliens and fake psyops that have no reliable sources whatsoever. So this UFO is a total psyop, and it being on 5/1, the Illuminati Day, 5/1 Area 51 Day. It is ridiculous. Should I
And why
go
are
to?
we now just hearing about this, bro? Because if this came out on 5/1, I mean, we're talking about a month ago, a little over a month ago. Why are we just now hearing about this? I mean, this is
Mhm.
that's sus. You know what I mean?
It's super sus. And just on top of the susness about it, it was promoted by Google. So Google made it right here, number one on trending. So this is something.
Wow.
I mean, this happened right before the lockdowns happened. You had the push of Storm Area 51.
hmm And isn't Las Vegas where Bigelow is, too? Bigelow Airspace, which
Interesting.
we know that Bigelow, right? Talking about, we're talking about space. Cape Canaveral is here in Florida, and Bigelow is funding, bro, DeSantis for his
Hmm.
presidential as a presidential candidate. So I found that super weird that this guy, he literally said he would put every single last dollar he had into DeSantis. So we
And
have maybe some, and we know Cape Canaveral, it's not there for no reason. There's an occult because it's on the same parallel as Disney World, the most magical place on earth. And I've talked about this before. The episode that I dropped on Monday was about the ley lines and the telluric currents and the world grid, and how perhaps this world grid is used as some sort of, some people believe that at these nodes, these places of intersecting lines, there are portals, right, where these entities can cross over, such as aliens, some of them, right? Roswell, you have the JFK thing going on near that. You had the Phoenix Lights, I believe, were along the 33rd parallel. You had a whole bunch of wars along the 33rd parallel. So, in essence, we charge these lines for these elites. And therefore, what else are we giving up our energy towards? You know what I mean? So,
well, I had to pull up I knew you were going to bring up the grid at some point, and we've covered the disco grid in one of our videos, and even the alien, it's got the grid underneath the the egg. And today they're celebrating on Google the disco ball. So
and
I
go back to that picture, Donut. That looks like the UFO thing that they talked about recently with the NASA, where they try to debunk the videos. I didn't watch; it was a 4-hour conference, but I saw some people who broke down the highlights, and they were trying to debunk all the Tic Tac videos and all these different things, and they showed a picture like that. It was like this circle, and it had some stuff on it. I'll find it here. It was an orb.
Oh, okay. And also the Chinese spy balloon during Rihanna, who was the egg. The egg is super connected to all the aliens are always being birthed out of an egg, and she was doing this fertility ritual. They're wearing the yellow, being the egg. And while this was happening, we were getting UFO reports of this Chinese spy balloon, and the whole thing with Roswell, the Roswell crash, it was the same story, how they released it to the public, how they released this UFO Chinese balloon. It's the divide and conquer strategy, where it's either a UFO or it's China, no in between, this very black and white thinking. Uh, so you can choose a side. It's aliens or it's not aliens. That's exactly what happened in Roswell.
And notice that it's very meat and bones, and they don't really focus on maybe the metaphysical aspect of it. So it's either one thing, how you're saying, either black or white. There is no in between, and they don't acknowledge that perhaps there is this more metaphysical aspect to it all. And you know what else comes out of the egg? The cosmic egg donut? Take a wild guess, bro. The homunculus. All right.
Oh,
Comes out of the egg too. So we have this homunculus connection. And some people believe there's the Moment of Contact documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, but the dude's been on Rogan, and they talked about how in Brazil there was this famous story where they came, supposedly they made contact with this alien entity. And the one thing that is always brought up in a lot of these alien contact stories is the smell of sulfur, a strong smell, very strong smell. It just, and the smell of sulfur is also associated with demonic entities, because again, talk about hell smelling like sulfur and all these different things. So that's why I say perhaps this alien agenda could be something more sinister, like we have CERN supposedly trying to open up portals to other dimensions. And then, right, 6ix9ine, Crowley, in order to succeed, you need to suck eggs. We have the egg connection in there. And who was he in contact with? With Lamb, which is the typical bulbous headed little being entity, which Lamb, some people would consider that a demon. You know what I mean?
With the egg head.
With the egg head. And there's a cult. There's Crowleyans, and I believe it was, I think it might have been Kenneth Grant, not, or Kenneth Anger, one of the Kenneths, right? One of the Kenneths. They were associated with Crowley, and there's meditations that they do where they go in to the head of Lamb, bro. They meditate upon the picture of Lamb, and they're able to enter another state of consciousness where they're able to enter the picture and morph and become one with Lamb. So there's that connection there as well. And I mean, look at that, bro.
It's Lamb. And also, you know, the Apple logo is Lamb as well when you put it together. And what was trending the same time this alien story was trending is the new Apple iPhones and all the Apple glasses as well. So crazy.
Oh yeah, you did see that, right? It was like an Oculus that they just came out with. I mean, they're acting like it's something new. It's literally not.
Right.
But
now we got over 600, 700. We got hundreds of people up in here. Make sure you smash the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell. We are diving deep on this alien PSYOP. Plus, we're going to get into the Taylor Swift amnesia, Crowley, and a bunch of fascinating topics as we're here with the homuncologist himself, the One-on-One podcast. Make sure you go subscribe to the One-on-One podcast. Check out his website. He releases a lot of cool works. I got his Occultus Mundi always close by. Thanks, so bro. I can study. Yes, sir.
Can I plug something else too real quick that I just got? So I'm on the cover of this month's Paranormality magazine 2023 Florida edition, Florida's homuncologist. Check that out. The link is over on my end, but you can use promo code TJOJP to get your copy. There's an exclusive interview in there as well. And so appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go cop me one of those, and go subscribe over to my Patreon as well if you like to support this content. Just drop some new groundbreaking information. Get in Wicked Smart for Dummies, Volume 3, and we went over John Taylor Gatto, rated New York School Teacher of the Year in 1991, right before the Rockefeller initiative of the brainwashing of the UFO agenda really took place. This is a 3-lesson series really breaking down with evidence of how the Illuminati and Skull and Bones control the schooling system to make everybody subservient. I'm not wicked smart yet. I'm still learning, but making them pretty much servants to the Illuminati, the pyramid, the Illuminati pyramid being at the bottom of it. And, you know, this agenda has been going on for a while. Here's the Spice Girls, but Shakira and the Black Eyed Peas did this alien video where they're throwing up the OK hand gesture, the 666 looking hand gesture. And there was this Illuminati pyramid UFO through it. So, I mean, I believe the music industry, I mean, it's not even a belief. It's super factual. You got Blink 182 releasing those fake UAP files. It's super connected to this brainwashing.
And it looks like this next presidential election is going to be a circus. It's going to be a theater of the absurd. And I think that a lot of people are going to be really putting their money on who is going to disclose this agenda, right? I think people are expecting some sort of disclosure with this new president, because that was the thing with Trump. He was talking about how he was going to put all these other, didn't he leave a timeline for them to disclose a certain amount of information? Then they ended up disclosing some stuff, but it's like, it's stuff that we already know about. And if you follow the UFO connection, and this is where, because again, if we follow a lot of these occultists, if we even go back to John Dee, who was the court astrologer to Elizabeth I, right? And he has connections with King James and all these different people, right, throughout history. But there are various theories that these occultists were always connected to being spies, right? We have William Shakespeare, who allegedly traveled around with John Dee and Edward Kelly, and he was also a spy for some time. The Garland brothers. So there's that connection because William Shakespeare went missing for a few years of his life. So we have this connection of occultists and spies. And if we fast forward a little bit, we have Crowley, who had connections with allegedly a three-letter agency as well. And then we have Carl Jung also talking about the UFO phenomenon and diving deep into the subconscious and all these other things, right? Bringing forth these manifestations of the subconscious, also tied to allegedly three-letter agencies. So you have Parsons, who was also tied to three-letter agencies and helped establish what we know today as NASA, or never a straight answer, right? We can go down that rabbit hole. But the idea being that what if the alien phenomenon was planted in the subconscious of humanity through the government, through these three-letter agencies. But what I can't get 100% behind that idea, because we had accounts way before, right? In ancient history, we have accounts of things that are similar to the UFO phenomenon, right? So there's a double layered aspect to it, and that's why I think that maybe some of these entities are demonic and artificial in nature, because we have AI and all these different things, and part of the homunculus lore was creating an artificial demon. Some scholars believe that the homunculus was an artificial demon. So again, we have the Trinity site, the first atomic explosion. Allegedly, the government was trying to make a homunculus there with that big container that they had there that they never told us what it was for. So how much of it is, again, through these occultists bringing things into our dimension, and how much of it is natural? I think that there are layers of reality that we can't perceive, that we can't see. And I think that perhaps what we've been told about space and about all these other places is, right, it's not 100% what they've told us. And I've the more I dive deeper into this esoteric and occult realm of things, Donna, I believe that space itself is a rite of passage, right? It's not how they've told us and how they've painted it out to be. Because if you focus on chaos magic, right, Kenneth Grant and all those guys that did a deep dive on the 22 tunnels of Set, they talk about adopting these Cthulhu mythos and these Cthulhu deities for their magical workings, right? And we know that H.P. Lovecraft brought forth cosmicism, which is essentially that you're just a speck in the middle of nothing, and there are entities outside the fabric of reality who can interact with you and bring themselves in, and they can quite literally drive you insane just from looking at them. So I think that space is some sort of if you look at the launching of rockets, bro, it's a ritual, right? What does the rocket represent? You know what I mean? And we have the meme lord himself of mimetic magic, Elon Musk, at the forefront of it. He's definitely doing some occult stuff, whether people want to admit it or not. But he's playing with people's subconscious, which is I think what's linked to it. And I think that if you do end up going to space, you quite literally lose your sanity or lose your mind if you peek into these other places. And if we look at all these occultists throughout all of history, what have they always been? What always happens to them? They lose their minds. They go crazy, right? Because it's that Faustian pact. How far are you willing to go to learn the secrets, don't it? Right? And hey, it's not a secret. You have to give up your soul. That's what they want. They want you to give up your soul in order to expose whatever it is. And if you look long enough into the abyss starts looking back at you, right? And you become the monsters that you are trying to fight and trying to search for. So I don't know, man. I think that space, I don't think it's fake. I think it's a real dimension. It's a real place that you can go and you can access, but you have to be very careful, because I think you can lose your sanity and lose your soul. Yeah, there you go.
Well said. Yeah, I think it's definitely a ritual going up into space. I mean, you got Elon Musk talking about Johnny Depp a little bit. Amber Heard was getting tossed around. by Elon Musk when she had no soul. That's what she said. I had no soul when I was banging Elon. And she was also banging, Johnny Depp in that court case where she stepped on a bee, all the different Illuminati animals.
On a
But then,
bee?
yeah, she stepped on a bee, and they were both wearing bee lapels. And the Illuminati, founded on 5-1, it was founded under the perfectible list or whatever, but also the Order of the Bees. And that same okay hand sign they're doing in the Nixon. And then you had that what's Reagan said, we're going to pause the Cold War if there was an alien event that will happen, and we're in some sort of Cold War era right now. And the new Sputnik moment with wireless technologies, and Manly P. Hall spoke about the age of Aquarius. The Aquarius symbol was the vril energy of dominating space, as above so below, the firmament, the waters above the firmament as well. So the idea of the mythos of the UFO is a religion they're setting up through ancient symbols and archetypes. We really dive deep on it over on the Patreon on the cow mutilations. Cow mutilations are still happening. Last month, a ton of cows mutilated. Tucker Carlson, I guess, did his first live show on 6/6 at 6. Kind of weird, but he posted the cow mutilation on August 10th, which is an important day to homeboy, what's his name, with the Phoenix, Dogma, Morals and Dogma. Pike.
Pike, Albert Pike.
Albert Pike, he dedicated his Masonic astrology part of his temple to the date August 10th. August 10th, and around those dates, I'm going a little over the place there. What I'm trying to say is the cow being mutilated, slaughtered, Mithra cult, and the UFO disc. This is all ancient archetypes. Vishnu had it. The disc, yeah, it's a religion, I believe. Should I go to a clip real quick of this for people who haven't seen it?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you're probably living under a rock. But the dude, right? Are you gonna play the audio with it, or should we?
Yeah, I'll play the audio just for like a couple seconds. Let me see where.
There's an alien in my backyard.
Not humans or not,
Yeah.
it certainly scared the people living on this property.
I don't want to get, these news stations, they be flagging. You see the Illuminati eye right there.
Into their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us.
You know what I got to do? I got to put on some scary music so the video doesn't get flagged.
Hold on. Let's play it along with this. Give me a second, because I don't think they flag music, right? So let's play the X-Files along with it, and then you'll.
No, I think they will flag the X-Files. Oh, that's good. That's good.
They'll flag that too?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
You can't do anything on these. What can we even do anymore on YouTube, bro?
Well, the
can we
thing
do anything
is,
on here?
you can't unless you're part of the system. Then you can do whatever you want. If you pick a side, left or right, you can do whatever you want. But if you're a centrist, no, you can't.
I love Joe Biden then. I love the CIA.
Joe Biden.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we terrified of it.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large.
They're very large.
9 feet, 10 feet. They look like aliens to us, but I'm going to go to the cop because the cop saw a UFO crash.
That was wild.
Leave her alone.
It's almost midnight on May 1st.
May 1st, the day the Illuminati was founded.
When a Las Vegas Metro police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8-foot person.
That's so weird, bro. I mean, because that makes me think of like Skinwalker, Nephilim, right? Again, we have these depictions that we have had throughout all of history. You have the hieroglyphs where a lot of people are taller than the other ones, and they just tell you in the mainstream, oh, it's to show that they are higher in status in society. But you touched on something very important that a lot of people need to know is that Thelema, you have also Scientology, all these religions, they are UFO cults, okay? They are UFO religions because Ayahuasca and Lamb, I mean, Ayahuasca, right, prophesized to Crowley the book of the law, which is like their Bible, and it was through extraterrestrial means, right? So we can consider Thelema a UFO religion, okay? That it was given through some sort of channeling to Crowley, and that became their text of like their Bible, pretty much. And so there are 8 feet tall people in Las Vegas. Okay. Maybe out of all the people, he was in his backyard at that precise time. Right.
Yeah. And they wouldn't show it at all. It's a huge PSYOP, getting people prepared for National UFO Day, which is June 24th, John the Baptist Day, and July 2nd, the real founding of America, when the aliens invaded an Independence Day. That's why I've been saying that Rihanna's baby, predicting that her baby will be born on one of these 2 days with that egg. And yeah, so you were bringing up Bigelow, a big investor in the UFO right here.
And he owned Skinwalker Ranch. He owned that ranch, and they did studies on it. And then after that, they sold it to the people who are doing the show there now. So it's like, oh, there's this whole lore, but they haven't talked about what they found. And I think that these places, they are places of high strangeness as far as where the veil is thinner. So perhaps it's a portal to another place.
Oh, and I did say that Vegas was on the 30s. I think I meant to say 33rd parallel.
It's I think it's pretty close. Yeah, I think I brought it up in my presentation I put out this week. So Las Vegas, let's confirm real quick. It might be very close to the 33rd.
I think it's on like both. So the pyramid is on the 33rd parallel.
36th parallel. Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
It is on the 36th. Okay, I was right.
Mm-hmm. But the pyramid, he's talking about the pyramid.
The Luxor pyramid.
Luxor. Let's see where that's at.
So the first person to be abducted was Bugs Bunny, and we're in the year of the rabbit. I got to go on Tripoli last year, and I said this year, the year of the rabbit, will be Alien. In the movie Gremlins, Bugs Bunny's hiding right next to E.T. In the movie Knowing, they bring the bunnies up on the plane. There's even a bunny on the moon. So I'm looking for Lunasa, which is when the Moon Cake Festival happens, one of a very important holiday in Asia, for more alien disclosures. In the Johnny Depp thing with the octopus alien, so the Rothschild magazine, the Economist magazine, talks extensively on Europa, how there's octopus aliens on Europa, and then we got this whole octopus.
They made a movie about that too.
Of Europa, yeah, and even in that one movie, Stanley Kubrick goes into Europa in the 2001 Space Odyssey. Not the first one, but in the book series, like later into the story, it goes into Europa and Satan and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Because I've seen there's 2 movies in total, right? Or 3. Because I know there's like a 2010 Odyssey or something like that. I've seen more than one of his movies. But was he writing this in the 80s thinking that was what 2001 was going to be like?
I don't know.
Super advanced.
I mean, you got HAL, which is IBM. I always thought that was pretty interesting.
And HAL in Coptic means simulation too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2010 Odyssey 2. Yeah, and 2061 Odyssey 3.
Yeah, there's one where it goes into like
more.
Satan. Yeah, there's like a bunch. But there's like a Satan part in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like another Howman. Look at that. By the assistance of Howman at the 3001, the final Odyssey.
Yeah. Oh, right here. I found it. I
Lucifer.
found it. Yay. Uh, the crew of Galaxy. This is Space Odyssey 2061, Space Odyssey 3. Um, during the creation of Lucifer, the diamond was blasted off and hit Europa. So right there, I told you there was some Lucifer and Europa connection.
Interesting. Isn't it
Yeah.
like the Vatican has a telescope named Satan or something like that?
Oh well, the Vatican also funded Rocket Man, Elton John, who's B Rabbit's handler, Eminem's B Rabbit, but they also funded Men in Black too, and they have a lot of studies on what to do when they tell people that there's aliens. So this is the thing: is that if you tell people there's aliens, it's wiping out thousands of years of belief systems. This is why they're pushing mushrooms and psychedelics, because people are going to be tripping on their cell phone, which will be communicating with the AI, which could be LAM for all we know. And that AI will be leading them into a shamanic spiritual journey. And through all the shock therapy of shocking events, the dams flooding and all these crazy events, puts us in a state of fear, of stress, where we become apathetic. Apathetic is whatever, I do what I want. Cartman, whatever, I do what I want. That's a good example of apathy. And that's where people are. We got thousands of people watching right now. Make sure you smash the like button. We care about these topics, but honestly, have you talked to anybody out and about deeply about these topics? It's very hard because they don't care.
Yeah, no, I do know a lot of people who don't care, but I think it goes back to what William Shakespeare said, the world's a stage, every man and woman has their entrances and exits, and I think what they're doing real time is some sort of stagecraft, mind manipulation, mind altering. And then when you introduce, right, we know that during the Ala Mantra workings, 420, Crowley, it was part of the rituals that Crowley came into contact with Lamb. Okay, so we have the cannabis connection to Lamb, which is an extraterrestrial. We have all these shows that they're coming out with the mushrooms. Cannabis is being legalized throughout the United States. So what if it is like some sort of drug induced psychosis, almost sort of, and the potency of these substances, to speak cryptically a little bit, is not just like the regular stuff that you just grow out in the field. It's very strong stuff. I mean, it's not how it was back then as far as the potency. Some of these concentrates of the substances that you can inhale, they really put you out, bro. I mean, they can really have you hearing and seeing sounds and seeing different things. So again, it's to alter the perception. And I think that perception is a very important part, because when you enter different states of consciousness, I think that's when you're able to tap into these other realms. Because I do believe that when you intake these mushrooms, you do enter another reality, another dimension. I don't know if you've ever done it, Don. I'm sure you have, but you're in another place and you're in contact with something of a higher intelligence. Okay. And yes, drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Las Vegas, so I'm very aware of the effects of all these different substances. And we did a breakdown. So this Ala mantra you're speaking of, 420, what is that? What's that connection? What is Ala mantra and how is it connected to 420?
So that was the seance, for lack of a better term, that Crowley was doing. They were doing this operation. It was a ceremonial magician, so they do ceremonies to invoke these entities. And part of around 420 was when Crowley was doing. It was a series of ceremonies, and one of which led to the contact with Lamb, and it was again through around 420. But it wasn't just the one on 420. It was a series. It was various ceremonies that they did, and again they were smoking hashish and probably doing other things too. I mean, it wasn't just that. Point being that when you alter the mind, you're able to see other things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see.
Right, right. And I mean, so 420, we did the breakdown on that in the occult connections,
Mm-hmm.
how it stemmed from a 33 acre campus right here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Grateful Dead promoted it,
Yeah.
Grateful Dead's connections to manufacturing LSD. And then you even got the alcohol connected to the CIA and very, very powerful families. And just looking through this PDF document that we did this podcast on, with the finger being cut, the blood, with Johnny Depp, he cut his finger, and John Podesta's fingers all cut up as well, and he's funding all these UFO documentaries as well, and he's the main guy for the Clintons.
Really?
Yeah, so there's this weird occult connection to the Alien Lom, Aleister Crowley. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Wow.
it's definitely there. And again, you can look into it yourself. Like I said, don't trust us up here, right? These talking heads. Go out there and actually do the research because there's connections to be made now. Like I said, I think that this phenomenon, I think that there are extraterrestrials. Maybe they come from Hollow Earth. Maybe they come from I don't know where. But then there are things that I think that you can summon and bring forth into this reality that are artificial in creation. And maybe it's a sort of technology, right? It's a sort of tech that can be used. If we follow the Project Bluebeam lure, it's going to be used to exert power over populations. Because how many people who don't look into this sort of stuff are going to believe exactly what's being portrayed to them and put out into the media, right? Defund. I say defund the media.
Yes, yes. Well, the technology thing's interesting because all the Grammys, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, they're the Bose speakers. They show this sort of portal this year and last year. And it's the Cream Master logo that I showed right here in the beginning. Um, and this goes into, so this is the Cream Master logo, and this guy dated Bjork. I'm gonna remove it for a second because there's some stream I don't want to show because I want this to stay up on YouTube. But it looks very similar to Rihanna's Super Bowl, the Grammys. But it gets interesting because this goes into sodomic portals, the anal probes and
Mm-hmm.
buttholes. So right here, Cream Master, this portal right there's the hex. I want to hear about Taylor Swift and the hexagram, but this is the butthole that they're traveling through in this, and this plays a huge role in art. Art showcases the new technology. Um, this artist, fashion designer, just like Zoolander, the guy who created it mysteriously died a suicide. Same thing with this artist, Alexander McM or something. I forget his name. But yeah, it goes into, it's just crazy. What's going on with the hex in Taylor Swift?
So the Book of Lies by Crowley wrote about it, the way to succeed and the way to suck eggs. He talks about it being the holy hexagram, and then he talks about interlock with man, interlock with beast. So we have this sort of chimera in there, and then he links it to the interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abra hadabra is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, it is not the word equal to Cheth, that is cancer, so 6-9. And this work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. And then he goes on to little children love one another. And let's think about Crowley, right? Crowley talked about we are all stars. I've heard people talk about how stars are like these pinholes to another dimension or other reality. So what does that mean exactly? We are all stars. That's a whole thing. And I know that the quote is longer, but let's just focus and break down some of these things. And then abrahadabra, right? The great work. It goes back to, as I speak, I create. and he took that from abracadabra, which is a sort of a talisman. It's a word that has power. They used the word abracadabra back then, bro, to heal fevers. Okay, so there was a way of magically speaking, and back then they linked different diseases to supernatural means. So again, you could kind of sort of see the magical thinking behind that. But point being that Crowley took this work and he adopted it, and he changed the C to an H because he believed that numerologically, because these occultists, back to John Dee being a mathematician, they believe that aligning themselves numerologically to the simulation, for lack of a better term, is a way of glitching the matrix, a way of hacking it. Okay, so that's why I think that these secret societies revere Pythagoras, and Pythagoras said all is number. We have the matrix connection there too, right? Because it's a code, it comes down from the ceiling. Well, do you know that some people actually have that happen to them, Donut? Some people see numbers and codes and colors real time. It's called synesthesia. And it's a phenomenon. They don't know why it happens.
I got a homie who sees in music, and if he listens
Really?
to certain music, he'll orgasm. That's
What?
word on the street. Word on the street in my little social circle. That's what happens when he listens. Very talented.
Wow. So
guy.
you have Pythagoras talking about, right, the music of the spheres and silencing your mind to hear this music of the spheres. So again, I think music it's all interconnected. It's a system that they've built on top of one another. And that's crazy, bro.
Does this mean anything to you? Because Smash Mouth, shout out to Smash Mouth. Hey now, you an all-star.
What does that say there? Astro what?
Astro Lounge.
Astro Lounge.
I don't know if
Astro World.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any connection that you just felt just seeing that, because that's a popular song for us millennials. Shrek was in Shrek,
and the have you ever broken down the symbology of Shrek, bro? Supposedly it's like this story of like the psyche and subconscious.
Really?
Exertus has a video on it. He talks about it, and I can't do it any justice, but the idea behind Shrek is much deeper than anybody could imagine. It's like something crazy.
Really, I wouldn't doubt it, because changed the world, this movie.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. You have the donkey and the dragon, so you have chimeras after the fact. They make like flying donkeys.
And there's the mirror,
the
mirror,
shrine,
the magical mirror that lets off smoke. And so the Spice Girls, shout out to the Spice Girls. I think something's gonna happen with the Spice Girls, because Ice Spice is being awarded. Ice Spice recently was holding Saturn. Maybe is that a hex on her, because Saturn has the hexagram. But this symbology of the UFO, especially in the 90s, right there, it starts off with the UFO. And underneath the UFO, it says Bergie, which is actually a family that's part of the Knights of Malta. So you got this Knights Templar connection there.
Really?
And what's weird about this video is like how BDSM it is. Like they tying the guys down. And like all the Spice Girl videos, they got guys like in chains and stuff.
Well, if you think of the alien lure, right? Whenever they abduct somebody, people remember waking up and being tied down, right? And some people would say, oh, that's kind of sort of related to sleep paralysis or like a demonic attack. But you have this connection of being tied down and restrained with the alien abduction, which if you think about, bro, look at Saturn, what that has the hexagon at the top of the North Pole of it, right? And they talk about how if you ever look into the Saturn time cube simulation hypothesis by Nick Hinton, where he talks about how perhaps Saturn itself is controlling the simulation, because you have all this cube symbolism throughout everywhere. The cube is everywhere. The Transformers movies, Hellraiser, I'm drawing a blank, but all these movies have the cube. They have the cube at where the 9/11 buildings were at, the Twin Towers where they were at. There's the cubes there now. and you have Geordie Rose with D-Wave computers, that they're just these big black cubes, these computers. And he talks about how when they're in the front of these computers, to connect it to AI, he feels like he's at the altar to an alien god, bro. They quite literally talk about this being an extraterrestrial god, because the computer's processor, it goes so fast that it needs to be cooled below zero, and it's got almost like a heartbeat. So it's thumping the processor of that computer. And he's talked about how they might open up portals for these great old ones like Cthulhu from the Cthulhu mythos to come through our dimension, and that they're going to be entities that are far beyond our comprehension. They're going to be a lot smarter than we are. Like, what if that's AI? What if the original AI, bro, was the homunculus? Because part of the homunculus was for it to divinate to you. And I saw something you brought up earlier about the Knights Templar. Well, if you look at the Knights Templar and the head of John the Baptist, they believed that if they had the head of a prophet, it would prophesize to them. So again, like a Chat GPT, that was the first Chat GPT where you asked it questions and it would answer back. Like, hey, what do I do with XYZ? How do I become rich? Well, if you give me your soul, I'll reveal the secrets to you. And allegedly, the Knights Templar started the modern day banking system through alchemical means, through worshiping Baphomet, which we know that's at the center of a lot of occult circles. So I don't know. She's on a black cube there. Look at that.
Yeah, this is her Eras tour where people's minds are being erased.
So I want to talk about that, Donut, because I have some stuff here that is very interesting.
Well, it starts off this tour with the cube is time. And it starts
Saturn,
off with
Father
Time, the clock, or you're getting very sleepy, some sort of hypnosis. And her music video that happened right before it, just like Travis Scott before his Astroworld show, he was wearing a Pearl Jam concert t-shirt. Well, that Pearl Jam concert, people were smushed by stampedes, and that's what happened at a show. So Taylor Swift, her video before the concert, the music video movie, was about not remembering. And you got the girl from the CERN Stranger Things show being the star of it, saying she don't remember anything. And Eras sounds like erased. And yeah, and also Project Artichoke, these members of mind control, these subjects of mind control, were left with amnesia, not remembering anything. So it's interesting. Yeah, what do you got on this?
So if you right, the Taylor Swift connection, you have the one where supposedly she is the clone of Anton LaVey's daughter. There's a strong resemblance there, and I wouldn't go as far to say that, but if we look at this ancient technology that they have access to, which is the transference of consciousness. But not only that, this is why the homunculus is so important, because they believe that they could capture souls and bind them to different people as well. So it's not too far-fetched. And I mean, we see this in movies like the show Altered Carbon, where people quite literally, right, they have a skin suit that they jump from time to time, and they're able to just transfer their consciousness from one body to the next. And I think that's what is going to happen, right? Talking about the meme lord Elon Musk with the Neuralink. You brought up technology. It's very transhumanistic, right? And I think that I'm going to be doing an episode on the origins of technology and the computer and how it's linked to the occult, because there is a connection there, okay? And so what I have here is, I found it super interesting that people were losing their minds quite literally by going to this concert. You had earlier, I think it was at a Travis Scott concert, one of these concerts where people were leaving because, and I don't know if it was Travis Scott, it was another one more recently. We know what happened at the Travis Scott one, but there was another one where the guy was like, he sounded demonic in some sort of way, like speaking.
Yeah, that was,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
And Playboy Cardi's logo is also the bunny. You got Bad Bunny being awarded with the Grammys, and his album have the Illuminati Eye, the Year of the Bunny. But yeah, that was Playboy Cardi. It was pretty satanic. Yeah, I'll bring that up.
Yeah, people were leaving. And again, I don't go out to these places, but they've talked about EDM and techno music being some sort of way to MK Ultra people. And let's not forget that music has a connection to the occult too. There's whenever if you ever studied Goetia or working with entities, they talk about singing certain things in certain keys and notes. So there's a connection there. Certain colors, you're supposed to put certain colors. And I did if you go watch my presentation on the 22 tunnels of Set and how it's a technology to process people's souls, right? They want to suck you into these different dimensions essentially by the use of color, by the use of music. So you have to be very careful with what you are ingesting, not only physically, but spiritually, mentally, etc. You name it. Because I believe that people are opening up themselves to other more metaphysical things. Now,
as you say this
look at
video
that.
is just
Y'all remember on stream I was trying to do that thing with my phone? You remember that?
yeah. So the flashing lights are a big part of the MK Ultra mind control. And I don't know if you heard that Mel Gibson, I don't want to get too much into it, but he was in that movie Conspiracy Theorist where the lights were flashing, but he's coming out with some sort of documentary or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The CIA has investigated that the CIA has done nothing wrong, right? So I have this the erasing of minds, and the way her tour was named Eras because supposedly it was going to go through the different eras of her career. But we have Eros, the god Eros
of
right?
love,
of love, and not only that, but it's got to do with. I have it pulled up here. Hold on, it's on my phone actually. Eros. Oh, I'm so unprofessional. I'm not even ready.
I got some pictures pulled up here.
So we have here, he may be the child of Nyx, and the wind hatched from a silver egg, known as the firstborn of the gods. He may be the son of Aphrodite in either Hephaestus or Eris. And Eros is the spirit of beauty, youth, vitality, desire, sexuality, pleasure, erotic impulse without which life would cease. He has a double or twin or alter ego called Hemeros, desires. And so again, it just sounds the same, right? Eros, and then 2nd century pagan Gnostics considered Eros the spirit closest to people. They envisioned him as an eternal child, hence all those greeting card images. And there's a darker connection. I can't talk on air about Eros, which I'll tell you after, but I just found it interesting. It was Eros. And right, this wiping of the mind, we have that connection also with the aliens. When people get abducted, they lose time, they lose memories, almost like their memories are suppressed. So I've heard stories of people appearing in trees, bro. Like their whole entire car is put in trees. So I have this thing on 9th century Islamic magic, and I'm going to be doing a video on Al-Kindi. And Al-Kindi was a 8th to 9th century polymath, pretty much. He was a genius, and he has this idea of what he called stellar rays. And this is why I think that the occult, right, is tied to space. And that's why I don't think that they've let it die, because it's connected to what these occultists are doing. And essentially, in a nutshell, what stellar rays was the idea that everything is shooting out rays of lights and is connected to the stars. So I'm shooting out my rays of light, you're shooting out your rays of light, don't it? And how our rays of lights interact with one another, that's alchemy. There's a reaction there.
And that's what they called it, rays of light.
Yeah, the stellar rays. So it's like literally, back then they believed that your eyesight, you were quite literally shooting beams out of your eyes to see things. Obviously, we know that's not how it works now, but that's what they believed back then, bro.
They believe it now because you got Madonna's song "Ray of Light," right?
Mm-hmm. And then you have what's that? Was it Pink Floyd with the?
Oh, with the
rays of light. Optics again. And it's all about perception, bro. It's all about warping the perception, because the eye can only see 0.0035 of the light spectrum. So imagine what else we can't see. What if these entities are right next to us, existing, overlapped on top of our? That's why I named my journal Occultus Mundi, bro. The hidden world, because I do believe that there's a world overlaid ours on top of ours that we can't see, unless you're either initiated right, into the mysteries, or you have your yeah, let me get that for marketing, bro. I'm gonna use that little thumbnail there. But the idea that you're able to tap into these altered states of consciousness, which we know is what the occultists do, to see these other worlds. What's that? Donut. There you go, bro. So, and the rays of light, bro. So everything is giving out a ray of light, and it's got to do with, and let me word this so we don't get pinged, but if you are to snuff out another ray of light, so right, pertaining to animals, right, we know that there are offerings that are done by taking unaliving animals, if you know what I mean, and unaliving other beings, right, for a lack of a better term, as we speak around the YouTube algo daemons, you are able to harness the light of that thing that you unalived, and you're able to use that energy for your magical practices. So think about why that thing, unaliving something else, is a thing in the occult, because you're harnessing that energy that you are snuffing out and disconnecting from the stars. Okay, I'm going to be doing a whole breakdown on that because it's a very interesting topic.
Gets into some like serial killer, Dahmer, sacrifice and all that.
Yep. Yeah, and there was also a serial killer during Parsons that was going around to wherever Parsons was at and laying out the bodies.
Are you serious? It wasn't the Zodiac killer, was it?
No, it wasn't the Zodiac killer. It was near the Hell's Gate or something like that. But it was during Parsons' time. Yeah, I don't know the exact name, but there was a killer around that time. It's very interesting. So, so to tie all this in together, right, the wiping of minds, we have the UFO phenomenon. People forget things, missing time, missing memories. We have the people going over to this Taylor Swift concert, forgetting it all, which the whole point of going to a concert is to remember it, right? You want to live the moment and have the experience. But one of the things here that I found of Islamic, 9th century Islamic magic, was the idea of using talismans to invoke changes in people. So check this out, bro, because it goes deep. We have here, let me find the part. Human souls, he tells us, are one in species, but differ in qualities. Therefore, there are of different kinds. The souls of prophets are prepared to have divine knowledge and to be addressed by angels in the name of God, and to exercise the influence upon created things, which goes with all that. The souls, and this is why I believe that these people practice the occult. To John Dee talked about changing and taking your soul and your spirit and turning it into a mirror. And I think that the sorcerers are the sorcerers and the magicians are the people who can turn this light around in on itself, bro. And
I put on the scary music and it just sounds perfect. Continue.
We have here the souls of certain sorcerers are able to exercise influence upon created beings and to attract the spirituality of the stars so that they can use it and can exercise an influence through either physics, psychic, or satanic powers. The souls that have magical ability are of 3 degrees. The first kind exercises its influence through mental power alone, without any instrument or aid. This is what the philosophers call sorcery. And again, this certain philosopher considers those people satanic. The second kind exercises its influence through the aid and harmony of the spheres and elements, or with the aid of the properties of numbers. This is called talismans. It is weaker than the first kind. The third kind exercises its influence upon the powers of imagination. The person who exercises this kind of influence relies upon the powers of the imagination. He plants different sorts of phantasms in the imagination, images, pictures, whichever he intends to use. Then he brings them down to the level of sense perception so that others may see them by the power of his own soul. As a result, the phantasms appear to the observers as things existing in the external world, while in fact, there is nothing of the sort there. For instance, a person may see gardens, rivers, castles where none exist. the philosophers call this I can't read that word. Prestigitation. Damn, I almost had it, bro. I was like really creepy, and then I messed up
No,
that
that
word.
was fire, bro. I love
So-
playing. That's what I'm gonna start doing is playing that music. But the light stuff is wild because continue. Sorry.
So we have here again this what I was talking about. They influence the imagination and perception. So they alter people's perception through the use of this occult technology. So if they're able to learn to manipulate these lights, according to Al-Kindi's philosophy, which inspired John Dee, they're able to warp people's perceptions and implant memories, bro. And what does it say here? He is, as the result, the phantasms appear to the observers as things existing in the external world, while in fact there is nothing of the sort there. What does that sound like to you, bro? When somebody's having an abduction experience, they see things that maybe perhaps aren't there, but it feels real to them. You ever hear somebody who does a psychedelic trip and is like, yo, it felt more real than real? Well, what is real, right? It's like the Neo in the Matrix. What is real?
I saw a rock turn into a lizard when I was like 14.
Bro, I saw Baphomet when I was on mushrooms, okay? So again, anything is possible, but imagine being able to do that by exerting your mental power over somebody else. Well, what do these artists have? If not, right, they call it clout, they're famous. They're deified, bro. There are people who faint at these shows because these artists have so much power over their mental state that they're able to warp their realities quite literally. And I think that's what's going on at these places when they forget where they were at. How do you forget when you went to a concert for X amount of hours? That's super weird, bro. And as soon as I read that, I thought of this. And I'm like, this is exactly what it's talking about. And it gets into talismans and numbers and all that stuff. So again, just very interesting, bro.
Right. Well, so shout out to Old World Florida. I'll be going on his podcast soon, and I'm super excited.
Bottom of the
for that.
barrel.
This right here, this Swarm show, I haven't seen it yet, but it came out the day that the Eros tour started as well. And it's about the Swifties or the Beyoncés or like myself, a juggalo at heart. These fans who kind of go crazy over the artist, and it just funny that came out. They're the new idol. So in this picture in the middle, it's idol worship, right? You got the golden calf, which goes back to the whole cow idea of the aliens abducting the cows, which just goes into so much symbolism. It's all playing together. And the light right here, I had the purple lights popping up everywhere. The light in Men in Black, they flash the optogenetic light to change the mind, and that is real technology. Optogenetics, they can change memories in the brain. Science, but you can't really trust anything these days, even though they train us through the schooling system. I just finished this book. And it goes into how the schooling system trains us to trust the experts. That's what it's all about for controlling society.
Trust the seance, bro. And I think that, yeah, bro. I mean, some people, see, right? They've always told us seeing is believing. But ever heard of a guy called Rene Descartes? I think, therefore I am. The whole reason that he says that is because he believed that his senses could be tricked. So I'm just going to say that if one of the greatest philosophers of all time said, I think that, he's like, that's the only thing I can prove that I'm a thinking thing. Therefore, I think, therefore I am, saying that our 5 different senses could not be trusted. He actually believed that our senses were being controlled by this demon. You can look up Descartes and the demon argument, and he talks about how maybe perhaps reality is being controlled by this demiurge, if you will, this archon, or maybe we're a brain in a vat somewhere. And again, that's demeaning this reality, but again, these are questions that they were asking back then. And I think people still are asking these questions, like, of what is reality? And why are we here? What is all this? Are there UFOs? Are there not UFOs? Are there aliens? Are there not aliens? And I don't know, man. I think it's really interesting.
So in the news, what they're doing, they're warming us up. This is the month of National UFO Day, June 24th, and next month, July 2nd. My predictions all year, well, since the Super Bowl, was that Rihanna's baby is going to be part of this ritual of the alien agenda. So the year of the rabbit, Hollywood has been showing the rabbit's connections to the moon and aliens, and the egg symbolism all year with the egg shortages. Rihanna was the egg, and she showed that she was pregnant. And I believe that alien Night Templar baby will be born June 24th, UFO Day, or July 2nd, which is 7/2. Today is 6/9, right? 6/9 is all about the eggs and summer solstice, but 72, you got the 72 bricks of the Illuminati pyramid, 72 names of the Goetia. This is all occult stuff. Metallica's new album is called 72 something. And in the news, just the way they released this is so telling. Just look at what's trending. That's what they want to trend. And right here, this is over the last week or so or month, Politico talking about release the alien documents, and New York Post, UFO spotted outside the Royals' house, Harry and Meghan's mansion. NASA's releasing the info. You got Blink 182 releasing the UFO PSYOP files. You got Logan Paul holding the most telling information of UFOs. And what is this? Like, why is this allowed? My videos get censored, but that's weird right there. But senators issued the satellite phones. So just the release of videos. Diablo is out in New York. You can get KFC points by playing the game. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the top secret. It's not what you believe. Are there aliens in my backyard? That this was released. I mean, right here, 5/1, Area 5/1. You like how I did that? Alien Day, Illuminati Day. Just that alone is the biggest red flag.
What if that dude was like, oh man, somebody in the comments was talking about how I think the cop told him not to call him again if he came back or something like that. Is that true?
Say that again. The cop
somebody
told him not. Yeah. So here, I'll play that clip.
He tells him not to call him back.
Yeah, it was like a joking manner. It was like, yo, if you see another person, like they're joking because the guy was startled. You could tell he was startled.
Investigation.
Here, let me play the creepy
Bro,
music.
I'd be startled too. But imagine he was like, oh, dude, I just took a bunch of mushrooms. Like I saw I saw the craft crash in my backyard. All right, cool. That'd be crazy if it was like, you know what? Don't. I mean, I'd be like, yo, don't call me again. All right, I'm busy, bro.
Turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself.
Oh, okay.
I ain't dealing with that.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to deal with no ETs, bro. You remember the movie E.T.? Remember that? Whatever happened to that? E.T.
Yeah, so E.T. also, when the UFO came down, a bunny runs away. So they've been showing this bunny symbolism even with E.T. E.T. phone home. So let me show. I'm so happy you brought up E.T., bro.
And somebody in the chat said, people never have their phones out. I don't know about you, Donut, but I've seen a UFO, okay? And I didn't have time, and I wasn't alone. So I have people who can confirm that for me. And you don't have time to take your phone out. Something it's just moving so quick. You know what I mean? Like I was in my backyard and it just zipping by, and I didn't have time to take my phone out. But I did see something that I don't know what it was. So therefore it's
UFO, right? No, for sure. I've seen UFOs. I was in California at 2 a.m. driving down the whatever it's called. It was late. The whole entire town turned green for a millisecond. And I asked my cousin who was a park ranger, and he's a really smart guy, wicked smart. I was like, what was that? And he was like, oh, it was just a transformer. But it wasn't a transformer because I've been looking into this for so many years that it would have just highlighted like one section. I mean, the whole town of California turned green for a millisecond. It was insane.
Jonah, I'm sorry to tell you, but your cousin might be controlled op if he told you it was just a
Maybe.
I'm sorry, bro. Shout out to
Maybe.
your cousin, but
You
it
could.
might be
Shout
controlled
out.
opposition.
He could be. I don't know. He's a good guy. But so here is ET. This is the mythos of the new religion that they've pushed on the millennials and since the Rockefeller Initiative with the Lawrence Rockefeller and the Clintons to release this UFO disclosure. And when this came out, X-Files came out, Men in Black came out, Mars Attacks came out, Independence Day came out. And ET, they're doing the hand of God right there. That's symbol. This is the belief system. To believe is what X-Files is. I want to believe. Believe is a spiritual undertone of the UFO. And the UFO disc you could see here with Vishnu or the Ezekiel wheel or Carl Jung's mandala, the mandala or even a swastika is a spinning or Thor throwing his hammer, the boomerang, it's the disc, it's the infinity meta logo. So the cow is the first letter of the alphabet. A, you got all this different cow stuff, cowboys, Lil Nas X. He was an alien underneath the tree. And then he did the twerking, but he got famous being the cowboy with the sun god, the Cyruses, connected to Miley Cyrus and all this. It's playing a huge role. And not only cows get abducted, but Snipey was abducted as well, which was a horse. So horses be getting sacrificed too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the people should really check out the episode that we did, the Dopamine Deep Dive, only on Rumble. Shout out to Slick Dissonant in the chat, but we did an episode only available on Rumble because it was too spicy. We went too hard in the paint for the tubes, and it was definitely going to get pulled down. But we talked about the cow, we talked about all that stuff, and it got dark. Okay, so again, viewer discretion is advised. Okay, it's not suitable for work, but if you want to learn about some of the darker aspects of the occult, which is important because a lot of people talk about, oh, why do you learn about all this stuff? I think it's important to know about these things because if not, then you know, it's one thing to know that you're in a game versus when you don't know you're in a game. So you have that one up on the elites, and that's what my channel is about, right? Bringing and decoding this occult symbolism to try and open up the eyes of people. Because if we have, I call it the 100 homunculus theory, but if we have 100 homunculus on board, we can shape reality. We can shape, our perception real time, like the 100 monkey theory, but it's 100 homunculus, so 100 homunculi. Yeah.
So over on the Rumble, you can see last year, I was uploading the bunny stuff right here, the Year of the Rabbit, occult alien connection. I posted this more than 7 months ago, but it goes, I've been going into that, but you could watch the video that Juan is talking about over there. I'm going to be uploading mostly all my content, maybe up to Rumble because this channel, I got a newsletter down below.
Can't say anything on here, bro.
I can't, dude. I'm demonetized everywhere, and it's so I really appreciate everybody that supports on the Patreon because that's what keeps this channel going is from your support over at the Patreon. So I'd like to get the channel monetized so I don't have to keep on begging to please sign up for my Patreon. But it's seriously that and me like, yeah. Where is the video? Where I'm looking for it.
You passed it. Let's see here. So we did the holographic asteroid one, and then was it before? Right there. No. I don't know where.
Oh, I didn't stream it. It's on the one-on-one.
Oh, it's on mine. Yeah, it's on
Let
mine.
me go to that.
So, man, my keyboard's acting up. The Illuminati, bro. The
Illuminati confirmed.
They're on to me right now. They're taking over my keyboard. I can't even type. Yeah. So it's right. Nah, bro. So this is why I don't like Rumble. I have like 3
Oh, you got like
channels
the
on.
double Rumble channels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
me too.
TJOJP, bro. So it's Rumble/user/TJO, and that's the problem because we depend on these bigger platforms, and they censor and they do all these different things, and then we go to these other smaller ones, and there's a reason why they're small because they're garbage. You know, what I mean? They're straight garbage. They're homunculus water. So I don't. It's on that one, and it did pretty well for my following, right? I know you
Yeah,
plugged it, but
it was a good one. So you gotta
I got
yeah.
emails about that one, bro. I got DMs about it, and people were watching it 2-3 times because it was just 3 hours of jam-packed of information. And again, we go hard in the paint. But we can't talk about certain things on this platform. We can talk about aliens and stuff like that, but we can't talk about anything else, which is kind of lame.
But this
It is
is a
what it
big
is.
deal. Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting. I was reflecting on everywhere. I've been removed from Vimeo, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble gave me a strike, YouTube channel
They
removed.
took
I've
your
been,
Facebook down?
yeah, the 500,000 subscribers. I'd post a video to get 1,000,000 views. But because people signed up to the newsletter, link down below, I got to create a new one. And then I built that up to 250,000 subscribers, but they just recently shadow banned it and demonetized it. So it's very thank you everybody, because I get discouraged a lot from all this, just making it demonetizing me.
Demon, yeah.
It's but I get so much support. Like, you gave me a call, like that changed my day. You gave me a call, yo, what up? Jacob Israel hits me up, Tommy Truthful hits, and then all the audience being so supportive really checks my attitude, because things ain't that bad at the end of the day.
I've been there too, bro. Like sometimes I got pinged recently on YouTube, and it's like you want to talk about these things, but you can't. And like, what are you supposed to do if you quite literally can't say you can't say anything? Like the real stuff, you can't say anything about it because you're silenced, and it's kind of disgusting. But I've learned throughout history that the people who are silenced, right, that go against the mainstream narrative, are usually the ones that are onto something. Right?
Yeah, and also there's like the people that hijack that whole thing. Like, there's people who get silenced, big figures, right? Big figures, but they're not really silenced because the news promotes them. They're on all different YouTube channels doing interviews. You know what I mean? So that even that has been hijacked as well. So with this top secret alien agenda happening, it's been happening for a long time. Storm Area 51, the Facebook event, Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook event, that's what they call it. This happened right before the world was locked down.
Mm-hmm.
And now this story is the number one thing Google is trending, even though it happened last month, over a month ago. But this is what's trending on Google. They got the UFOs with the spy balloons during the Super Bowl, the superb owl. You got Lawrence Rockefeller, right? Part of the Rockefellers funding this whole UFO disclosure right here. I mean, this is all factual stuff here, September 1994. And this was connected to the Clintons as well. And the Illuminati right there, Illuminati, aliens,
One-on-one podcast.
one-on-one podcasts. But even Fukushima, because we just had this damn thing happen. The dam flooded. But during the flooding at Fukushima, there was reports of a UFO popping up somewhere. But Fukushima is one of the biggest UFO sightings on the intergalactic map as well. UFO lab just opened Fukushima to look into Japan's strange sky sightings. The UFO cults. I mean, the Phoenix Lights happened March 13th, right after this disclosure of the Rockefellers, and then March 13th, national emergency. took place. So yeah,
Yeah, Cloverfield. You remember that movie, bro?
Cloverfield went hard, bro.
Cloverfield did go hard, and then
They
the
all went
follow up,
pretty hard.
the follow up was hard too. Paradox.
Is that the one where they're kidnapped?
No, where they're in this ship and they do like some. Is it Montauk where the ship teleports somewhere else? Is it Montauk?
Oh,
No,
okay.
Montauk is the creatures come through, I think. Anyways,
Yeah.
we know the
The
government.
Philadelphia
The
experiment.
Philadelphia. It was kind of sort of like that, but they're like in a spaceship, and then like their double comes out or something crazy, bro. It's wild, bro. Wild.
That is wild.
That's why I like doing videos with you, Donut, because you're up to date with the mainstream stuff. I'm not. All right, I'm always studying old books from the 16th, 17th century, and I don't watch the news, bro. I don't watch the news. Any news that I get, if it's big enough, is from my social media, and if it's on social media, you know it's some sort of psyop or something that they're trying to push, because that's just the way it is. So I tend to ignore those things because I know it's some sort of energy harvesting, mining, etc., etc. So I like coming on with you, bro, and breaking down these modern events and connecting them to the occult of antiquity. So,
Well, we appreciate the homuncologist himself, one-on-one podcast. You can find him. Where can everyone find you at?
so YouTube, Juan on Juan podcast. My website's TJOJP. Let me plug the magazine real quick. Oh, and the homunculus pamphlet. If you want to learn about the history of the homunculus, is going live today. I'm gonna go meet up with Paranoid American and pick those up. I'm on the cover of Paranormality magazine. The link is over on mine. You can use promo code TJOJP. Florida's homuncologist, bro. The Homunculist in Charge 2023 Florida edition. There's an exclusive interview in there of me. Then I have the various Occultist Mondays where I write about esoteric and occult subjects, and my comic book, The Chosen Juan, where we get an artifact from another dimension and it unlocks powers in people. So yeah, bro, pretty awesome. I appreciate you, Donut. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you too. Make sure we got 1,000 people up in here, so make sure you smash that like button. Go support us. Go support one-on-one. And it's Friday. Go join the Patreon and watch Getting Wicked Smart for Dummies, cow mutilation documentary. Just a ton of great content on both of our Patreons. And yeah, I look forward to getting that copy when it comes out. Homunculus.
Yeah, bro.
Much love, everybody, and God bless you.